It has been like 4 years since I made my first video ranking the Ariana Grande fragrances, and while to this day it is like the most viewed video on my channel by a long shot, looking back it is extremely outdated and I think we're long overdue for an update. Since I made that video, the Ariana Grande fragrance collection has like almost doubled. So there are so many new perfumes to add to the list, and also I think as a fragrance connoisseur have also grown and evolved, and the ones that were on the list originally have definitely moved around as well. This is gonna be a long one. I am definitely gonna need my energy drink for this because let me just... In the original video, I was missing quite a few of the fragrances, and now I literally have every single one because I am a victim of capitalism. That being said, I can speak with more credibility and first-hand experience on all of these fragrances. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe, and if you're coming back, as always, thank you so much for being here, especially if you've been around since like my first video. Like I was literally in high school, a child. So it's crazy to see how things have changed. And then there are definitely a few like disclaimers. Okay, so first of all of my rankings are gonna be based pretty much solely on how much I like the scent, how good I think the fragrance actually smells, and not on presentation. Because if we were factoring presentation into it, some fragrances would be ranked very differently. And then performance, so how long it lasts and how it wears, might be factored in like a little bit, but primarily we're just gonna be looking at how they smell. We will be covering all of the mainline Ariana Grande fragrances, so not the limited edition ones like Frankie and Sweet Like Candy limited edition, just the ones that are like currently purchasable. The last thing that I want to note is that with any of these videos, I would like to remind everyone that it is very subjective. This is very like opinion based, and I think that something that I rank very low could very well be your favorite fragrance, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying that you have bad taste or that you're wrong. I think we just all smell things differently, and there's beauty in that. So please don't be upset, and I want everyone to continue enjoying what they love. This is just how I personally feel. I think that should be everything. Let's get straight into it. At number 21, in my opinion, my least favorite fragrance out of her collection is gonna be Glinda Bubbly Pink. I don't think I've worn this fragrance a single time since buying it. Like this really, the only purpose that this serves for me right now is like room decor. I do wanna say like there's not a single fragrance in her collection that I think genuinely smells bad or like I don't like. This is just like the one that I care the least for. It smells very basic. This is very much giving like 2010s Bath and Body Works body mist, and it isn't doing it for me. It does not feel inspired. I feel like this kind of DNA, it's very reminiscent of Mod Blush as well as Ari, and it's like if I wanted this kind of vibe, like I would just wear these fragrances, and even then like I rarely do want that vibe, so just never reach for this. I don't think it's very original. It's just a very like girly, fruity pink scent. Again, it's not bad. I mean, it smells good. I mean, something had to be in last place, and it's this one. It hurts me a little bit to say because I love Glinda, but this fragrance is just not it. Number 20, we have Angel's Kiss. I'm honestly really sad that I just don't really vibe with this fragrance. This one just does not work for me. I still think that it smells nice like overall, but with Angel's Kiss, it just smells very much like an old ambery rose. There's almost kind of like a distinct lack of sweetness, which is really weird because it has these delicious notes like rosewater gelato and dark vanilla, so you would expect it to be like sweeter, more syrupy. But I think in the opening, to me, it just smells kind of like a dark, jammy rose that isn't as sweet as I expected. I think as it dries down, it definitely begins to sweeten up and you get more of these vanilla nuances, but I'm just not a huge fan of the opening, and I think that this doesn't really feel like an Ariana Grande fragrance, I will say. Not my favorite, and I don't think I can rank it any higher than 20. Next up, at number 19, we have Moonlight. I think this is just a very safe and predictable kind of fragrance. I honestly really like how this smells. I always have. It's just kind of boring. Like to me, it just smells like all of the other OG Ariana fragrances. So like Sweet Like Candy and Ari, kind of like a combination of those. And you add like a darker plum element and some musk. It just smells like a girly purplish perfume, kind of exactly as you would expect. It's very nice, but I genuinely don't think I've worn this fragrance for like actually years. At number 18, we have Maud Blush. This fragrance is a rosy passion fruit perfume. It's very fruity, fresh, and bright with a little bit of tang, and it's not my favorite. I think that the combination of passion fruit and rose gives it almost kind of a cologne-y type feel. It's not like masculine, it just like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I think this is a good fragrance. I just never wear this. And I think especially considering it was released alongside its much hotter sibling, Maud Vanilla, it just is really outshadowed. I don't think this fragrance is a standout in her collection at all. At number 17, we have Ariana Cherry Eclipse. So this perfume to me is kind of just like a clean and tart cherry with a little bit of gourmand elements, but it smells very perfumey overall. I think that this is a very pleasant scent, but the way that it was marketed kind of made it seem like it would be this like really whipped, creamy kind of dessert like cherry, which is not really what I'm getting. This is a lot lighter, a little bit fresher, and again, just not super interesting. My main gripe with this fragrance is that it does not last like at all for me. I get like maybe a couple hours and then it just vanishes. So I'm just not super impressed with this. I do think that I like it better in terms of scent than some of the other fragrances on this list, but not my favorite release from her. Next up, at number 16, we have Vanilla Suede. This is in the Love Notes line. I actually do have a full bottle of this. This is probably the fragrance that is the least Ariana Grande-esque. This scent DNA is so different than everything else, and so I think that gives it like a uniqueness aspect. If you did watch my full review on this to me is a very close dupe to Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Gentle Fluidity Gold. It's very niche and expensive smelling, but you're not at all gonna get the super sweet, girly, feminine aspects that you do get in Ariana's other fragrances. I do like that they kind of like took a different direction. I think with the original Love Notes collection, all 4 of those fragrances were just really different from her other releases. This one, I think, is the most kind of complex and niche smelling. It's this very interesting, musky vanilla, but not at all like a dessert kind of vanilla. It's a very clean, almost kind of sterile smelling vanilla. I described this as smelling like baby wipes and baby powder, and I do still kind of stand by that, which I know to many I think sounds off-putting, but it is pleasant smelling for the most part. Not gonna be for everyone, and I don't think that I can rank it any higher. This is just a very interesting fragrance. Next up at number 15, we have, where is it? Okay, God Is a Woman. This is a perfume I think with each passing year, I like this fragrance less and less. To begin with, I did really love this fragrance, and so it's not at all bad. I think that nowadays, I'm not as in love with the scent profile as I previously was. This is a really sweet, juicy, watery pear with this very prominent ambrette note that gives it this juicy, musky sweetness. And to me, it kind of smells just like a fresh pear-flavored Jolly Rancher. Like, it has a very candy-like sweetness. Just, I don't know. I don't care for this kind of scent DNA anymore. I haven't worn this fragrance in a while just because it doesn't, I don't know. It hasn't been clicking for me. At number 14, we have her original fragrance, Ari. For her first fragrance ever released, I do think that this is really, really, really special, and I think that it has stood the test of time. I will say, because it is like the first one, it is pretty outdated. It's just very safe and predictable and crowd-pleasing, which is exactly what you would expect from a celebrity's like debut fragrance. Overall, it's a very well done, sweet, floral, feminine fragrance with a good amount of sweetness to it. It's a very kind of Victoria's Secret-esque perfume, just super hyper feminine. I think the target demographic is very much like younger girls in their like teens, maybe even early teens. Not something that I really reach for or want to smell like, but I think that this definitely has its audience. It is a good smelling fragrance. Like when you catch a whiff of this, it is super perfumey, kind of has like a department store-esque vibe, and so no one's gonna smell this and be like, oh, that smells bad. It just smells like perfume. Next up at number 13, we have Pressed Petals from the Love Notes collection. This perfume actually took me by surprise because in her entire line, this is the most just designer smelling fragrance. Like it's super department store, just like a basic white floral. Think like Libra or like a Prada Paradox, even a Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. Basic kind of designer floral, but I guess it made its way in the middle of this list because I think that it's done very, very well. I was kind of like surprised by how designer it smells. It almost has kind of a cologne-y feel to it just because of how perfumey it is, but the florals that are in here are done very well. Would I choose this over like another standard designer perfume? Like probably not, but I still think that this perfume smells very good. Another one where I'm like, no one would really hate how this smells because it's not polarizing, it's just like it smells like perfume. At number 12, and this is the very middle of our list, we have Thank You Next 2.0. This has come a long way on the list. If you watched the original video, I'm pretty sure this was at the bottom pretty much. But I think I've really developed like a newfound appreciation for this fragrance. It is very basic, I will say that. It's just like a sweet, fruity, girly fragrance, but it smells really, really good. Like I feel like this kind of scent DNA I like more than something like Glinda Bubbly Pink. It has this kind of bright, juicy sweetness that wears so beautifully. I especially love how this fragrance dries down and how it wears on clothing. I think it smells really, really lovely. It is a dupe for Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple. It doesn't smell super like apple-y to me, but it's just like a very sweet, berry, juicy fragrance with a little bit of like marshmallow and whipped vanilla elements, but I think that the fruity elements definitely overpower kind of the more heavy vanilla. Next up at number 12, at number 11, we have the original Thank You Next. This is also another fragrance that has come a long way. In my previous video, this was ranked last, and I think that my perception of this fragrance has changed almost entirely. I originally didn't love the scent just because I was like, okay, it kind of smells like pickle juice, like I see where people are coming from. But I think when you really get to actually wear the fragrance and play around with it, the rose and coconut and raspberry actually smells really nice. It's sweet, bright, slightly tropical, and just like sugary in a really pretty way. I still can see how some people think that it smells kind of pickly or it has kind of like a dill feel, mostly with how the coconut interacts with the rose. The kind of like tropical tartness of the coconut mixed with this like dewy floral rose gives it kind of like a zing and kind of maybe smells like pickles, but in like a very good way. I think once you actually get to wear this fragrance and you layer it with others, it smells really sweet and feminine and just really beautiful, and I've definitely grown to appreciate this fragrance a little bit more. So now we are entering the top 10. From here on out, I really do think all of these fragrances are fantastic and they're all scents that I would wear and recommend. So at number 10, we have Cloud Pink. I think ultimately this is probably my least favorite of the Cloud line, but still a fragrance that I like very much. I think that this smells good and quite interesting. And to my nose, it is a lot more different to the original Cloud than most people were kind of saying. It has a very prominent pitaya and coconut water note. It has this very bright, prominent tropical fruit aspect to it. And then it kind of does settle into the vanilla synthetic DNA of the original Cloud. The reason why I would rank this one a little bit lower than the other Clouds is because in the opening, I think the way that coconut water specifically interacts with the synthetic, more cotton candy nuances of the Cloud DNA, it does smell a little bit, I don't want to say weird, because it's not bad, but it's interesting. It is kind of fresh and tropical in a weird way. I think to some noses it can come off kind of plasticky, and so that's why I would probably put it a little bit lower. But what I will say is that I've also recently been spraying this a lot on just like my clothes. I love how it dries down. I just like am not as fond of the initial opening of the fragrance, and so that's why it is at number 10. But I do really like this fragrance and I recommend checking it out. At number 9, we have Sweet Like Candy. This is like a super understandably sweet and berry cream-esque perfume. It's just very yummy. It's so girly and hyper feminine. It is one of probably the youngest smelling fragrances on the list, but like it's kind of like a guilty pleasure for me. Like I think it smells so good. I struggle to think of anyone who would really hate this. Like if you really don't like super sweet perfume, then like I guess. But the thing is, like, it doesn't even smell like a cheap fruit candy. Like, it is perfumey from a little bit of muskiness and is very vanillic. It's bright and creamy and kind of whipped. It's also a little bit syrupy and nectarous, and it's just very yummy, very sweet. I think smells like you would expect it to, and I love this fragrance for any time I just want to smell sweet. At number 8, we have Pink Woods from the Love Notes line. I really like this fragrance and I think it's super well done. Similarly to the other original Love Notes fragrances, it is quite different from how the typical Ariana Grande fragrance smells. It is a bit more mature and complex. I really get a strong, just like pink lotus element to this fragrance. It's quite fresh, and as the name would suggest, it's very woody. It's a very smooth and a very well balanced kind of wood that blends with the sweetness. It does have a cotton candy note, so it should dry down a little bit sweeter, but it's certainly not like sweet gourmand like a lot of her other fragrances are. I think if you want something a little bit more elevated and grown, still classy and elegant and just a nice smelling perfume, Pink Woods is a really great fragrance. At number 7, I think this is probably the most underrated fragrance in her collection, in my opinion, but we have the original REM perfume. I feel like no one ever talks about this fragrance, but I really do love it. This is a sweet, powdery, salted lavender with like a lot of sugary vanillic elements. It is powdery, but it's just a very controlled kind of sweetness that dries down into a really delicate and yummy, inviting vanilla. I think this fragrance is really versatile because it gives you this kind of sweetness that any gourmand lover would kind of crave, but it's very balanced at the same time. And yeah, I mean, I've loved the fragrance back then. I still love it to this day. Really great perfume in her collection that does not receive the recognition that it deserves. At number 6, we have Cloud Intense or Cloud 2.0. This was a really tough one for me to rank just because I genuinely have such a hard time picking this apart from the original Cloud. They smell so similar to me, and I think usually with fragrances I'm able to tell them apart pretty accurately. Like, I do have a pretty sensitive nose, but to me these two fragrances just smell so similar. I would say if I had to like pinpoint a difference, I would say the 2.0 is slightly kind of airier and more floral and woody. I think the sweetness comes from a little bit more from the floral aspects, but again, they just smell almost identical to my nose, and so it's really hard for me to put one over the other. That being said, if you love Cloud, if you love Baccarat Rouge, this is a fragrance that is kind of like a no-brainer because it smells very similar to both. It's sweet, slightly lactonic and creamy, has a very cotton candy-esque feel, and is just very lovely. Predictably, at number 5, we have the original Cloud. Everything I just said about Cloud Intense, I think, kind of applies to this. I would say this fragrance smells a little bit more synthetic. It has more of a cotton candy kind of sweetness. Some people think it smells like burnt plastic, which I like almost kind of see where they're coming from, but I don't know. I think that this fragrance smells so good, and it always has. It smells very kind of modern to me. It's like a more modern synthetic gourmand that just is really yummy and sweet and wears super beautifully and will forever be like one of her best fragrances. At number 4, we have Plush Vanilla from the Love Notes collection. Plush Vanilla is a really special fragrance to me. I think that it smells so warm and soft and cozy, and it is just a very true kind of warm and sweet gourmand vanilla. A lot of people think that this smells like vanilla skin, which I do get, but I do like it better than vanilla skin. I think that the amber crystals give it this really sweet, crystalline, sugar-like quality. It's soft, it's creamy, it smells really, really yummy without doing too much. Any vanilla lover would really adore this fragrance, and that would include myself. Okay, so we are officially entering the top 3. At number 3, we have Alphabet Enchanted. Everyone already knows how I feel about the bottle, but that's not what we're here for today. The scent itself is so good. It definitely takes a lot of inspiration from Mod Vanilla, so it doesn't feel like something that I've never smelled before, but in its own way, it's also very unique because it adds a plum note as well as green apple and oud. It has this like kind of almost mysterious, edgy smokiness to it while still being really sweet, really delicious. The vanilla is so beautifully done, and I think still the star of the show, but it has these other elements that I think really give it a unique touch. It's kind of dark, it's kind of edgy, and I think a lot of people when they see the fragrance, first of all, I mean, they see the bottle and they're like, what is this? And then also because it is like a wicked perfume, it's definitely overlooked. But the fragrance itself, like if you put it in like a niche bottle and marketed it as such, no one would really bat an eye because it smells so good. I'm very impressed with the scent DNA. One of my favorites, one of my most worn, and yeah, it has very rightfully earned its number 3 spot on this ranking. My runner-up for the best Ariana Grande fragrance of 2026 is the newest one to our collection, Cloud Aurora. I really, really do like this fragrance. If you haven't checked out my full review, I would definitely recommend doing so because we'll go a lot more in depth there, but this is just such a beautifully sweet vanilla fragrance with these fruity elements that give it a kind of syrupy nectarous feel, all while still being very light and airy and wearable. It's just so beautifully done. It's the kind of scent where I catch a whiff and I'm like, oh, like it's very yummy. But it isn't sweet in like a super typical just like cupcakey vanilla or like Sol de Janeiro kind of way. It doesn't feel super basic in that way. It's a very uplifting sweetness. A lot of people were comparing it to Young Bougie Marshmallow by Kayali, and at first I was like, what? Like, no, they don't smell alike. But now that I'm smelling it, low-key, I kind of am getting it. Young Bougie Marshmallow is a lot more powdery and airy and marshmallowy. I do get kind of that like strawberry with the milkiness. And yeah, this just isn't like a super linear fragrance. It does have a vanilla smoke note in the dry down. I personally don't think it smells very smoky like at any point of its wear, but I think that the note gives it just like another layer of depth to prevent it from being too just like a sickly sweet vanilla. It's so beautiful. I have been loving this fragrance and wearing it like literally every day. I will say my only issue with it is that the performance is not great. It just doesn't last very long and doesn't project a ton, but other than that, one of the best perfumes she's ever come out with, in my opinion. At number 1, I think to absolutely nobody's surprise, we have Mod Vanilla. This has been my favorite fragrance for several years now, and I don't think that I need to really explain why I love this fragrance as much as I do, because those who have heard me talk about it before are definitely really sick of it, and honestly I am too. I'm almost kind of like scared in a way because I feel like she's never gonna come out with another fragrance that tops this one. This is just everything that I love about a fragrance. It has this delicious creamy sweet vanilla, but it also smells complex with this plum note and a very prominent musk note in the opening that makes it feel plush and airy and so unique and elegant. It smells like clean and feminine while also being so just juicy and yummy and a masterclass in perfumery. I think it's so well done. Ariana Grande's best fragrance. I think it's the best fragrance, period. That is my updated 2026 edition ranking of all of the Ariana Grande perfumes. If you made it this far, thank you. You're a real one. If you have a different ranking, obviously, I mean, there's 21 to go through, so I don't expect you to rank every single one, but maybe just let me know like your top 3. But yeah, with that being said, I love you. I hope you're all doing well, and I am tremendously grateful for your support always, and I will see you very soon.